Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we will be explaining one more interview question that is asked in one of the big MNC companies, that is Deloitte. And this question was asked to my friend, and hence I am quoting this question and explaining you how exactly you can solve this question. So before watching the complete video, I will recommend you to watch the complete playlist of the interview series because it has a lot of questions and it will really help you in practicing the questions in PySpark and Spark SQL, and you will be interview ready. It has more than 10 questions already, so don't forget to watch those videos. And in this particular video, I will be explaining the question which is actually using the most advanced functions of PySpark and Spark SQL. I will be telling you the approach how you can solve this question. But before actually watching the complete video, first of all, read the question, try to understand the question and also the data set. Don't forget to understand the data set. Once you understand the data set and what output is expected from that question, try to solve it by yourself. You can use any platform to solve it. You can either use a Jupyter notebook, you can use a Databricks notebook, or if you have your Spark already set up, just go ahead, run the query, try it, do some hit and trial, try to solve it by your own. And if in case there's any doubt and you are not able to solve it, definitely go ahead and watch the video and try to understand what logic is being built behind it. Even if you have tried the particular question, then it could be a different way of approaching it. So if in case you have approached in a different way, you can watch the video and you can also understand how I am approaching this particular question in this video, and you can try it in that way because one question can be solved in multiple ways. There is no right and wrong unless and until you get a particular output for getting that particular question, right? But you need to understand the basic concept behind it. So without any delay, let's get started with today's question. Okay, so the question here says you have to have a PySpark query and a SQL query to find the products whose total sales revenue increased every year, and you have to include the product ID, name, category in your result data set. So if you will see, you will have a two table. One is your sales table, second is your products table. In the sales table, you have three columns. One is product ID, year, and total sales revenue. And in the product table, you have product ID, product name, and your category. Now it is saying you have to first figure out what is your total sales revenue, which is increased every year. So if you will see for product ID 1 and in the year 2019, the total sales revenue is 1000. And for product ID 1 in the year 2020, the total sales revenue is 1500. It means it has increased by 500. The next year it is 2021. So in the next year, the total sales revenue is 1200, means it has decreased. If you will see for product ID 2, in 2019 it was 500, then 2020 it was 700, and 2021 it is 900. It means it has increased consecutively for each year. For the product ID 3, in 2019 it's 400, then it increased to 450. However, it got decreased again to 300. What the question is asking, it is asking to find the total sales revenue which is increasing every year. In every consecutive year, it is increasing. It is not decreasing at any point of time. So in this case, it is decreasing in 2021, and here also it is decreasing in 2021. However, for product ID 2, it is increasing for each year. So it is asking you to give the result for the product ID 2. Now, what is the product ID 2? It doesn't have any name. So the name here is in product table which is having product ID 1 is your laptop and the category is electronics. Similarly, for product ID 2, it is jeans and the category is clothing. So the output you need product ID 2, jeans and clothing. So that is my output. So now let's see how we can go ahead and solve this question. If you know how exactly the lag function works, the lag function works by actually giving you the result of the previous data set or previous year in our case. So if you will see in, if I apply the lag function here, what it will do, and I will be grouping it by product ID. So for one product ID and for each sales amount, what is the previous amount? So for product ID 1, there is no previous amount of 1000 of the total sales revenue. So there is no product sales revenue, right? So it is null. Now what is the previous amount for the previous year amount for product ID 1 for 2020? It is for 2019, which is 1000. Now for 2021, what is your previous amount? That is the 2020 year total sales revenue, which is 1500. Now, similarly, for product ID 2, what is the previous amount total sales revenue for 2019? We don't have that data. So that means it is null. Now, what is the previous amount for the year 2020? That is for 2019, which is 500. And the next year for 2021 year, the total sales revenue, the previous year total sales revenue, that is 2020, is 700. Now, let's see for the product ID 3. What is the revenue for 2018? I don't know. So will have it as null. What is the revenue for 2019? That is 400. That is the previous year sales. Now, what is the total revenue for 2020? It is 300. Now you understand how the lag works, right? You are grouping it by product ID and you are doing a total sales revenue. If you want a very particular video on that, you go back to my channel. I will pin it in the I button. I have explained you both the lag and the lead function. And if you go to that video, you will be able to understand clearly how you can do it. I'm not enforcing a lot, but I hope you have understood with this particular example also how the lag works. If you want to know how the lead works, go ahead and watch that video as well. Now, as we have the previous year value, so let me not put it as lag, okay? Let me put the name as previous year revenue, okay? So just to make it a little crisp, I will do previous year revenue, okay? Now, now I have the current year revenue and the previous year revenue. So now if I go ahead and subtract the current year with previous year, what will I get? I will get here null because I don't know what is my previous year value. Here I will get current year minus previous year is 500. And here I will get minus 300. Why? Because I'm subtracting my 1200 with 1500. So 1200 minus 1500 is minus 300. Now I'll be subtracting the null with 500. It is null. 700 minus 500, 345 is 200. And then 900 minus 700 is again 200. Okay. So let me go ahead and get this. To make a little bit things easy, I will change the data set a little bit because otherwise these two are same value and then you have to get the maximum of this, right? So let me see here. If I have here 1000 with 200, then here I will have 300, right? So here I will have my null. Here I will have how much? 50. Here I will have, sorry, here I will have 450 and here I will have 450 minus 300, which will be 150, but it will be minus 150, right? So this is my value, that is my revenue difference. Now, if I have to go ahead and get the result data set, the increasing result data set, then I will be checking what is the minimum value of this. If there is something that is coming in negative, right, then it is actually a decreasing data set. If in case it's coming positive, then it is a positive data set. It's increasing every year. So let's go ahead and solve this question in our Databricks notebook. Okay, so I have my notebook open and I have initiated my cluster as well. So I have this data set. I will go ahead and put it in the description. You can just go ahead and get it from description and play around to get the solution. Or if you want to see the solution, I will put it in the GitHub link. You can also check that. So I have this data set ready. If you can go ahead and see, let me rerun this so that I can show you. So there are two data sets that are there. One is this products table and this is my sales data frame. So I have my data frame already ready. So as we were discussing, I will be adding the previous year revenue column using lag function. So before I add something in the column, let me import some functions. So from pyspark.sql.functions, I will import lag, column, and min. If there's anything else required, I will go ahead and import them. And I have already told you, if in case you are working on a real world example, then it's better to go ahead and import the functions that you need actually. Don't import the ones that you actually don't need, right? So now I have my functions ready. Now I will go ahead and I'll create a data frame. So I'll create a sales data frame. I will go ahead and replace the sales data frame itself. In the sales data frame, I will go ahead and create a column that is my previous revenue column. So I will name this as previous year revenue. Okay. And now I have to perform the activity, right? What actions I need to perform. So I will first perform the lag in order to get my previous year data. I will perform the lag on which particular column. I'll perform it on this total sales revenue. Total sales revenue. Let me check the name is correct. Yes, total sales revenue. Now, if I perform the lag functionality, I have to perform this on a particular partition and on a particular order, right? So I will do an over, and inside the over, I will do a window dot partition by which column? That is my product ID. So I'll partition on the product ID, and I will partition on the product ID and I will be ordering it by the year. Okay. So before I run this particular command, it will throw me an error. First of all, let me close this bracket. Still, it will throw me an error. Figure out why. I'll tell you. So I'll just do salesdf.show. See, it says name window is not defined because I imported the functions, but I did not import the window. So how you can do it, you can do a from pyspark dot sql dot window. I will import the window and I'll run this command. Now I have imported the window. Now let me go ahead and rerun this particular command to see what is my sales data frame with my partitioned and the ordered column with the lag, which is my previous year revenue. So if you will see, this is the null value as I was explaining. Now the previous value of 1500 is 1000, previous value of 1200 is 1500, the previous value of 700 is 500, which is here. Now previous value of 900 is 700. Okay, so I have not changed the data set here, so we will run in this only. Okay, so we will figure out if in case there's any error, but it should not give me any kind of error in that case. So that has been done. So now we will go ahead and do our next step. What is our next step? The next step is to actually go ahead and get our difference between the current year and the previous year sales. Okay, so for that, I will just create a different data frame. Let's say diff, and I will do it on sales df dot with column. I'll create another column in which I can record the values of my difference of the current year and the previous year. So which is my revenue difference. And in the revenue difference, how will I calculate the difference? I have to calculate the difference on the total sales revenue, and I'll subtract this with my column previous year revenue, right? So this will give me the difference of the data frame. So I'll do a difference dot show. Now, once this executes, then you will see it will give you some values which are positive, some values which are negative, because you are calculating the current year revenue minus the previous year revenue. If it is decreasing, it will be negative. Here it is decreasing. However, it is same than the previous year. So it is 200, right? Here it is decreasing. Now, let me go ahead and go to our next step where will be finding the minimum of the revenue difference by grouping that data, and then I will be filtering out the negative records. So I just made a mistake in the spelling. Let me correct this. Okay. Now let's make it as grouped data frame. In the group data frame, what I will do is I will use my DF and I will group it by which column? I will group it by the product ID, and once I group it, I will calculate the minimum value. So I'll do an aggregation and do a minimum of the column revenue difference. Let me just recorrect whether the name is correct. Yes, it is correct. So that is my revenue difference. Now let me do something like I don't want the name to be an aggregation. So I'll do an alias. Let's say it's the min value. Okay. So let me put this inside the quotes. This is my min value. Now I will go ahead and do a group df dot show. If you don't know how to do an aggregation, grouping and all, I have also created a video on that. Just go and watch that. I'll pin that in the I button. So this is my data now. This is the product ID and this is my minimum revenue difference. I think I did not put it inside this bracket, so it did not create an alias of it, but let me rerun this by correcting it. Now you have your minimum value. Now, once this is done, now you need the product details, right? As we were mentioning here, this is my product details, the product ID, product name, and category. So what I will do is I will go ahead and I will join those two tables. That is my product table and the difference table that we created. So that will be our final data frame. So my final data frame will be my group df dot join which particular um, data frame, that is my product df. Okay, now how will I join it? I'll join the product df with the product. It's not coming, so let me type it. Product id should be equal to group df dot product id. Okay. Now, how you will be running this? How equal to is inner. So let me go ahead and run this particular data frame and let's see what output we get. So here we go. So we got all the output. The product ID, this is my minimum value. Here it gave me this also because I have done it with product ID. Let me see what it gave. Here I did not filter out the negative record. Okay, so I have all the values, right? I have the minimum value for all the records. So I should actually filter out the record which is actually going ahead and giving me the positive value, right? So for that, I will do a filter operation. So I have done the filter here and I have filtered it with minimum value wherever it is greater than 0. Okay, so once you group it, don't forget to go ahead and filter the data set. Once you have filtered the data set, this is my product ID, which I need the result from joining the operation. Now let me rerun this particular command. It will give me one result data set. So now I don't need all the columns. What I need, let's read it out. We need the product ID, name and category in our result data set. So what I will do is I will drop the columns which I will not need, or you can do in this way also. You can select the columns which you actually need, right? And that's how you can get only 3 columns. So what you will be selecting, let's do that. I have this data frame. So in that data frame itself, I'll do dot select the product ID, product name, and category. So let me run this. Okay, so it could be from any product, right? So if I do the column, let's see, it could be from any product, right? So I will get it from the group DF. Okay, so that was giving us an error. So I corrected it and now it is giving me the result with product ID, product name, and the category. So this is how you can actually solve a problem, approach a problem and solve it basically. You can try this with this SQL method as well. It is a good to know, but in most of the interviews you will be asked for PySpark. It can also ask you for SQL. It is not much difference. With the help of the SQL select query, you can go ahead and actually you can solve this question. I hope you have understood how exactly to execute this particular question and you have solved it. Do not forget to practice the complete question playlist of the interview series, which will help you in cracking the interview. If you want more such videos, do pin it in the comment and I will try to make more such videos which will help you in future. I hope you have liked this video. If you have liked this video, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends.
Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.